What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and today we are talking about Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So this is the last book that is part of the Evelyn Hugo universe, and really what connects Carrie Soto is Back to the other books is that she made an appearance in Malibu Rising. She famously stole Nina Reeven's husband, and then in this book she is reading a tell-all about Daisy Jones and the Six. This is taking place in the 90s, and I will say this one, I wasn't the most excited to read. I was excited to read it after Malibu Rising because she just seemed like such a cool character. Like when Carrie Soto shows up in Malibu Rising, you're just like, who is this girl and what is her problem? So I was interested to see where that was gonna go, but I had heard that in this book, it's very technical when it comes to tennis, and she's a very unlikable character, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But honestly, reading this book and the journey that it took on and the journey that Carrie Soto goes on internally was absolutely stunning, and honestly it might be one of my favorites now. Carrie Soto is Back takes place in the 90s. Like I said, this is kind of a washed up / retired tennis star. She was the thing when it came to tennis. She was the daughter of a very, very famous tennis player, and she is I am going to be number one or I am nothing. Everything must be perfect, otherwise I am an absolute failure. She retires from tennis for 5 years because she's aging out of it. She's almost 40, but she decides that she's gonna come back because somebody is about to take her title for the most Grand Slams, for the most wins, and she just cannot let that happen. And the journey that Carrie goes on from being very selfish and really only caring about winning and not really let people get close to her, to somebody who really realizes what it means to be an athlete and to rediscover the joy of this sport, was honestly breathtaking to see. I will always say this about Taylor Jenkins Reid, but where she shines the most is with her characters. Her characters are so three-dimensional, so well thought out, and honestly, by the end of this book, I was rooting for Carrie. I was desperate to see what was going to happen to her, and I was very attached to these attachments that were slowly starting to come into her life. This book reminds me a lot of Evelyn Hugo, I would say, just with Evelyn and how she evolves as a character and how she views herself as a bad person, and she's retelling her story. This was kind of Carrie discovering that yeah, she is a bad person and maybe she doesn't want to be a bad person, because for a long time I think she just let this battle axe symbol just be who she was, and she just decided she wasn't going to care what people thought of her. And then slowly she's realizing well, what if I did let people in? What if I did let people love me? What if I let myself love them and just not worry so much about being a failure and being number one? It was honestly just so beautifully well done, and I just couldn't help but picture Carrie Soto as Ana de Armas and Bo, who is the love interest in this book, as Chris Evans. And it just the second I pictured that, I was like, this is what I want. This is the movie that I want. I'm obsessed with tennis now. So many things about tennis after reading this book, about the courts and about how it works and how the games are. And now I'm you know what? I do consider myself to be a tennis girly. So just the research that went into this, the care that went into the story was absolutely breathtaking. Taylor Jenkins Reid said that she won't be writing any more books within this specific universe. So that just means that we won't be hearing mentions of McReva anymore, Daisy Jones, that kind of thing. She's going to go back to writing in some other world, some other types of contemporary. But I am just so in love with this world that she crafted, this alternate reality. And I do hope that she's able to return there to the future, because I just think it was so fascinating the way that she built this world that is basically ours, but just had these new characters living in it. And I hope that we do get to see more of Carrie Soto in the future, because I love her ending and I would love to hear mentions of her as she goes on in her career. It would just be really, really cool to see. So I'm giving this book an A+, and honestly, I do think it is one of my favorites now. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to Talk Books with me every week. That's everything I got for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.